we all must abide by the decrees of the mad, how can we call ourselves sane? Neglectful of the state of power, all but forsaken by those who started it. We are not free in most manners. To be free in a real way is not but to place calculations upon the risk that is existence. Not to say that our form of hierarchy is the only thing that entraps us, rather, it is the fear and tradition that keeps us in this perpetual loop that takes away our freedom. The past in this sense is the common sense from the past that was once new information.
I think freedom is the chance to make your own choices, the chance to exercise your own free will, the chance to be yourself, the chance to live with no restrictions. I think freedom is whatever you make it, to be honest.
Are you ready?
Yes.
What does freedom mean to you?
Freedom means to me to have freedom to me means to be able to do as you please without worrying about your own image or how other people view you, or trying to think if like that's the quote-unquote right thing by societal standards.
Freedom means having the ability to do what you want within reason, within respect for other people, respecting other people's property, other stuff like that. Just freedom to do what you want and live how you please.
Damn, getting right into it. I think freedom to me is an ability for one to make their own decisions, you know, whether it be for themselves personally, whether it be decisions, I guess, for their environment as well. It's like you having the ability to make your own decisions without any inhibition, outside or internal.
I don't know, like the ability to do whatever I want when I want.
So just free will?
Yeah.
So do you think there are other variants of freedom or just ones that we can exercise from our own mental capacities?
I think it's like mental capacities. We as people only use like 10% of our brain and understand as like in a societal structure what we can do and what we can't do. So it's more like, I don't know, doing stuff like what you are doing and like how you grew up and like your surroundings and type thing.
Even the top must have a guide, and to force wicked selflessness to protrude from itself, they are stricken with identity and ego, as are we. We think that we are we, rather than thinking that we are it. Separation from this greater whole has brought us our identities, but also has stricken us with ego. In the most negative of avenues, ego is the root of most of our problems. And in some ways, to believe is to relinquish our freedom. For to believe in something is to doubt it in some way. For if you truly believed it was so, then you would know. It's this distinction itself that breeds separation between man. It's like we're on each side of a coin, and it is the ego of man that will make him think he's on something much more valuable.
Where do we pull our value from?
Values come from many different places. I believe that as you're younger, values come from like your family and like people you surround yourself with when you're young. As you grow older, I feel like your values can change or cannot, but you have a better way of like understanding your own values, whether that's from like what information you like take in or what you view in like your current environments. Since we're in college, I feel like our values definitely have changed. I feel like our values are more focused on ourselves, which is like a good thing, because I feel like the past, like for as long as we've been alive, we've been somewhat trying to impress other people, whether that's like your family or just your friends, but like this is like a chance in your time in your life where you can definitely have your own identity, and with our own identity comes with your own values.
I could only really speak on me personally. So me personally, my values come from the people who raised me. So they come from my parents mostly, and I guess the moral compass that I've created for myself. But I think that question depends on the person. So you can't really say we. That's just me personally.
I'm assuming our families and the way we were raised brings us value, because like I have different values than you, and you have different values from Coral and everyone else in the room, because of like I literally did a project about this in 8th grade, and like we were brought up, and like I don't know, it was very interesting because like your morals are like tied to everything that you do and all the decisions you make, and difference in morals can like cause difference in ideas, so, and more conflict.
We pull our value, like as a whole, just as a country.
More so like our self-value.
I find most humans take value in the things that they own, but I find value is more important in the people you're with.
Well, we're all a product of our experiences and our environments, so you naturally pull value from those things. But I think as you go on in life, you determine what's important to you, determine what's not important to you. And this is where you get your core values from, and you ingrain them within yourself. And that's what makes you you, and that's what determines your core values.
We pull our worth from the external. Therefore, we are not free. We analyze our lives rather than act them out. In that way, we are not free. We have individual powers, but we're taught that they're nothing if you don't bring them together with others. In that way, we are not free. It is a waste to not attempt to be free in any facet. For some, freedom will always be better than none at all. However, if freedom is something that must be given, then it is whoever's possessing its right to give and not ours to own ourselves. We mirage our skies to honor those who were not free only to be their possessions. Given the power to create life only to have it restricted is only an example of how we are not free.
I feel like most people do possess freedom as long as their mind allows them to have it. You know, if you could think whatever you want, you can act however you may act. Although some people are unable to speak freely and act freely upon issues and things like that because of the current political state of their country and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people have freedom, but not a lot. Also, a lot of people don't have freedom.
I think you have to be more specific if you're asking if anyone's free. Because
Does anyone have freedom?
I think some people have freedom in some things, other people don't have freedom in other things. I think that's too broad of a question to be answered with one general answer. But I think I'm gonna go with yes, because I like to think people have freedom over their actions, freedom over their daily choices, freedom over their, I don't know, just things they do. But at the same time, there are certain systems and certain things which limit people's freedom, which also have to be taken into account.
I don't think so.
Why not?
We're all tied down to something. Like, I'm like tied down to like this idea of like having to get an education to pursue what society considers happiness. Literally, I would literally just rather just do nothing all day, but I gotta get a job so I'm not like broke and homeless, basically. And like you're tied down to do, I don't know, what do? You go to work?
I do stuff.
Yeah, you have to do that stuff because you have to. And like we're all tied down to something. Like you have to do laundry every day. Not every day. Every like 4 days. Yeah. So like stuff like that.
I think a lot of people have freedom. Yeah, I don't just everyone obviously doesn't, but I think we have varying amounts of freedom at varying points in our life. Just depends on what kind of space we're in, and that could be like our mental space and our physical space as well. So I just think, like everything, it depends. So like, I think right now at this point in my life, I'd like to say I have freedom, but you know, maybe 5 years down the road I won't. Hopefully not, but you know, that's how it works.
Does anyone truly possess freedom?
I don't think anyone truly possesses freedom, because at the end of the day, I feel like something in the back of your head is always telling you what's right or wrong. And I can't tell you what determines what right and wrong is, but whether that's like your religion or like your morals or society, but I feel like there's always some type of system in place that like somewhat determines what's right and wrong, and that kind of determines your definition of freedom. And I personally don't think like anyone has like 100% freedom from like their own thoughts in a way, because like your own morals are somewhat like the foundation to what you believe is right and wrong.
If we were free, there would be no discussion on freedom. The word freedom itself implies the opposite, just like positive and negative, light and dark. The chains on our being are inflicted nonetheless. No matter what we seem to do, there's always a reason to think that we're not free. To live by the standards of the mass is to be good in our minds. And in some ways, something as simple as like morality, I'm saying that morality is definitely a good thing. But to have somewhat a like second guess of your own actions is to not be free. And I feel like it's because we are immersed in such a wide network of individuals that we are unable to really exercise real freedom, because it's others people's lives and experiences that we have to take into account ourselves. And no one man can be entirely selfish for it. There's always something that they care about, whether that be themselves or maybe like some other person or money or some other monetary material rigmarole. How could we be free if we are we rather than it?
Final question. If we truly do not possess freedom, is there any way we can attain it?
I don't know, because like I feel like, as you like probably heard through your interviews, everyone has a different view of freedom. And I feel like since there's always someone that has a different definition, it's not universal, it's kind of hard to come to a consensus of what true freedom would be.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Octavius.
Anyway, but like, I mean, like, even if I'm like freedom within yourself, but I don't think you'll ever get freedom from like the world around you, because there's so many things to just like, you have to always do something. There's always something you have to get through. So I guess you're never like really free from that, unless you like live in the woods.
We'll just say hypothetically, if you were to live in the woods, aren't you like almost forced to live in the woods to escape from something else, making your choice to move to the woods not your own free will and something else?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Unless you really just like to live in the woods, you can just really like it. People eat that shit up all the time, like legitimately.
That's so valid.
It is valid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think you can get peace of mind, freedom of mind by like working on yourself and trying to carve ways to help your mental health. I think you can find freedom of body or freedom of spirit. Like, yeah, you can obviously attain freedom. It's not easy by any means, but it's definitely something that is attainable, yes.
Thank you. If you don't have it.
Yes, I think right now freedom comes from a revolt against what's trying to control you or what is trying to put you into a box. I think consciously and consistently going against those systems and those notions is how you truly become free.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
it's because we associate ourselves with this abstract identity that we are unable to really exercise what it means to be free. It's because we kind of separate ourselves as people and try to think that each of our experiences are completely unique. Not to say that they're not unique, but to say that people don't undergo regular human occurrences. Like when we have issues, most of the time we think that we're alone, or we think that no one else can really understand. But most people have been through these rigmaroles, you know? And now realistically, is there a way for freedom to be attained? I'm gonna say no, because there's always some form of control that something above has on it. Like the most attainable form of freedom that we can really attain nowadays is like financial freedom. And what good is financial freedom if our money is a made-up concept? Like, what good is the financial freedom if the whole banking system crashes? What good is that freedom when the connections and bonds you're trying to build don't require monetary value? If I say, if it is to be, it's up to me, I can't really achieve that if we are not free.